To refurbish this lock using the Refurb Kit, begin by removing the centre case or gearbox section. This is affixed using 4 T20 Torque screws. Start by removing the top torque screw fixing. You'll notice this is the longest of the torque screws on this mechanism. It's important to remember that this will be the top fixing for the gearbox. Then remove the above latch fixing. Notice this is a shorter screw. The above deadbolt fixing. And the below deadbolt fixing. Again, these are shorter screws. Once all the fixing screws are removed, lift the gearbox clear from the mechanism. And we'll move up to the top hook case. Top hook case on this mechanism, secured by 2 T20 torque screws. Start by removing the top torque screw and then the bottom torque screw, and once these are removed, lift the hook bolt case clear from the mechanism. And then you can move on to the bottom hook bolt case. Again, this is fixed with 2 T20 torque screws. Removing the top one first. And then removing the bottom fixing and lifting the hook case clear of the faceplate. Be careful from now on handling the faceplate, as it will be weak in the areas where the apertures are and could easily bend, so put this somewhere safe. Next, we will take the components from our refurb kit and prepare to install them back onto the original faceplate of the mechanism. So our refurb kit in this case will consist of a centre case with a latch and deadbolt or gearbox, a top hook case and a bottom hook case. These are identical, one's fitted one way up, the other is fitted the other way up, but there's 2 of the same case here, one's for the top, one's for the bottom, and there are 8 screws supplied. These are in 3 lengths. The longest screw is the top fixing of the gearbox. The shortest screw length will be the other 3 fixings on the gearbox, and then the medium length screws are for use attaching the hook bolt cases. So top screw, top fixing, smallest screw for the other 3 fixings, and the medium length screws are used in the hook bolt case fixing points. We'll now begin fitting these back onto the original faceplate of the lock. So we'll start by ensuring that the small plastic tab that's used to retain the latch in the holdback position is in position in the small channel that it sits in, slid into position. These may be either grey, black or blue depending on the model of lock, and that the rails on the back are in the unlocked position. So that means that the top rail is at the extreme end of its travel in this direction, closest to the gearbox, and the bottom rail is in the extreme end of its travel in this direction, closest to the gearbox. So once you have the lock configured like this, we'll begin by offering the centre case or gearbox up to the faceplate, and we must make sure that this also is in the unlocked position before we start. So using the lever, pull the latch back in and make sure that is fully in the unlocked position, and then offer the latch bolt into the latch bolt aperture. You'll notice on the face of the gearbox there is a round peg. You're looking to locate that round peg into this round hole on the connecting rod at the top of the faceplate. So manipulate the connecting rod until that peg clicks into place into that round hole, and once you've done this, take the longest of the supplied screws and screw that into position in the top fixing position. Only the longest screw will reach the threads in the gearbox, so you can't put the wrong screw in. If it's screwing in, then it's the correct screw. And then move to the bottom of the gearbox, and again there is a round peg on the faceplate of the lock, and there is another round hole on this connecting rod, and you're going to press the two together and manipulate that connecting rod until the gearbox sits flush against the faceplate and that round peg has located into that round hole. Then take one of the smaller length screws, of which there are 3, and put that into the fixing position below the deadbolt aperture. As with all of the screws on these mechanisms, do not over tighten these. Then the remaining 2 smaller screws are located in the hole above the deadbolt aperture. And the hole above the latch aperture. Once all of these screw fixings are in position, we can test the lock to make sure that it's all moving freely and in the right direction. Connecting rods are moving freely, and we can move on to our top hook case. So here's the aperture for our top hook case. And again, in the unlocked position, we're going to offer the top hook case up to the faceplate, and it's this rectangular feature of the casting of the hook bolt that we are now looking to locate into this rectangular aperture on the connecting rod. So in the unlocked position, offer that up till it clicks into position, and you'll know it's in position because as you move it, the hook will begin to appear out of the aperture as you slide that on the connecting rod at the back. That means that rectangular piece is in the correct position. Take the first of the 4 medium length screws that are supplied and put that in the top fixing position of the hook case whilst everything is held together. And take a second and put that in the bottom one. Once that's complete, we can then test at the gearbox again to make sure that when we lift the lever, our connecting rods and hook cases are operating as we'd expect. And then move on to our bottom hook case. So here's the aperture for our bottom hook. So with the remaining hook case, again, it's this rectangular feature, and we are looking to locate this feature into the small rectangular slot on the connecting rod. So we'll offer that up till it sits flush. We can see that that's sitting in that rectangular slot. So taking a third of the medium length screws, that will sit in the top fixing position. And the final one in the bottom screw position of the bottom hook case. Again, check the operation of the lock to ensure that all hooking points of the deadbolt are moving freely. And we have refurbished this lock.